Live. What is up, everybody, and happy Saturday to everybody out there. Listen, welcome to Pin the Gas. Harrison Mackay, what an honor.
Thank you, Chris. Thank you for inviting me onto your podcast.
Yeah, man, absolutely. Man, I love the British Talent Cup. It's like you guys are the future of the sport, right? So it's one of my favorite things to watch. Obviously, is the younger kids and generations coming up through the rank, and yeah, I love to see the progression and the joy. That to me, it's Harrison. When I see like you win or Juju win or whoever, right? The emotions, it's so special, so meaningful versus somebody that's done it a million times. I'm sure they're still happy, but it's like, yeah, just thank you for my sponsors. My team was really good. Where you guys are just like, yes, let's go, and all the emotions come out, and that's what us as fans, that's what we love to see.
Yeah, definitely. We're just so passionate about it. That's the thing.
Absolutely.
And we definitely show it.
It's what our sport's about too, right? It's the emotions that go behind it. It's what draws us in, right? If it was boring, it would be like NASCAR to me, because I don't watch NASCAR at all. So
yeah, the sport's definitely a lot mental side of it as well. It's not all just you've got the talent to ride the bike. It's a lot in your head as well, which is
man, our sport is absolutely one of the most mental things there is, game wise anyway. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff that mental that goes behind it, and all you guys are legend. Harrison Mackay, you're a legend, right? It's what you guys do and all the sacrifices you guys make that a lot of people don't realize behind the scenes when the cameras are off and the race weekend's over, the effort that you put in and the focus that you do and the determination and everything that goes with it. People don't see that. But it shows on the track when you come back, right? So it's bro, it's absolutely amazing, man. It really is. So listen, we already got a comment coming in today from Chris Lewis. He's actually out there in the UK. He's a good mate of mine. What is going on, Chris? He says, hey guys, how are you both? And he says, how do you manage the mental side, Harrison?
well, to be honest, last season anyway was quite not the greatest season for me, and I actually struggled a bit with the mental side of it. With the results that I was getting weren't the best with what I wanted. But I pretty much struggled all season, and we brought it down to, having the confidence in myself to be able to ride as good as I know I can, because I've proved it before, and a lot with pressure as well, not from my parents, but me thinking they're putting, because I want to prove them well and do them proud. So I struggled a lot with that, but I'm a lot better now just because I actually tried a sports psychologist. So I went to in Loughborough University and did that for a couple of weeks, and it helped a lot he helped me to rethink things and kind of put me in the right mindset mentally for going into a race weekend, to think a lot more positively of myself and that I can actually do it and believe in myself a lot more. So now what we've been doing is he gave me things to do, and we've been doing it out in Spain, and just to think positive all the time, forget the negatives. Because obviously for me last year it was quite a negative year and I weren't thinking positively at all. So, but yeah, we're good now. And like I said, I went to one of them sports psychologists, and it definitely helped for me. But it's just all about enjoying it, smile all the time.
Listen, it is. That's one thing that I struggle with it, dude. Everybody struggles with that, Harrison. You're not alone when it comes to that. Am I good enough? Is this podcast going to be good enough? Are people going to like me? It's same thing with you in racing, right? I don't want to let my parents down. I don't want to let my team down, any of my sponsors. So all this pressure coming from every direction, and how do you deal with that? So positive energy, just think positive. So I think of what helps me is I have a talk in the mirror with myself, right? Like, I can do this. Absolutely, you got this. You got to love yourself, and focus on just the positives, like you said, and not the negatives. So instead of you at the track, you're like, oh, turn 4 is just absolutely, I struggle with it, right? But instead of mentally focused, because it's hard as a racer when you got a couple bad sections on the track and you can make up a lot of time there, right? And if you just focus on that, that's when your level of confidence and everything comes down. Versus if you just concentrated on the positive parts of the track that you're just absolutely killing it, right? The negatives will turn into a positive and you'll find a way faster, just talking with your engineer and all that good stuff. So it's yeah, the mental side of it, man. It's but listen, it is, man, it is. But I'm glad you turned it around. A good mate of mine, Daniel Parker, he's actually a rider mindset coach, working with a bunch of people, and yeah, the mental game.
Yeah, I definitely recommend him. Like he did with the things, like I said, they get you to do. It definitely helps a lot. Definitely.
Absolutely, man. It does, man, and the anxiety of it, right? It's like even for these podcasts, at first I didn't want to tell it, but it helps me to talk about it. Like I said, I get anxiety, I get jitters, I get just all the emotions, and then I go in the mirror, like I just said, and have a talk with myself, smile. And then as soon as I come sit down and I see you, man, all that goes away, right? It's like for you putting on a helmet and the visor goes down. It's game time, right? You don't think about it. You just, we'll have a really good time, and yeah, make the best of it. So absolutely. So Harrison, how did your journey in motorcycles to begin?
So I've been in the BSB paddock now for quite a long time, since I was quite young, actually, with my mum. My mum's always been into bike racing before she met my stepdad. So I always used to go to Cadwell Park, was the main one, because that's my closest one. So I used to go to Cadwell all the time, and I used to have one of these little red, like, push-on bikes, and I used to be flying around the paddock on one of them. And it's almost like everyone knew me, kind of the kid who was on the red bike riding around the paddock. But so it started off there, really. I mean, and then went there for years, really, with my mum. And obviously, when you do that for so long, obviously that's how I got into it. But then my mum skipped a few years. My mum met my stepdad, who at the time was big into racing and raced himself. And obviously that's how kind of started, because this was probably, I was about 8 or 9, and I was on YouTube one day, I can remember, and I found cool fab racing at the time it was, with the mini bike kind of stuff. And obviously watching that, I realised that I could actually do this at my age, because I started quite late, you see. So I started when I was 9 years old. So obviously I was pestering my parents for a little mini moto. And I did get one in the end, I did. And obviously we started with fab. And I mean, it started from there, really. Fab, I did mini motos. Well, obviously, because I was 9 or 10, can't remember exactly, I think it was 9, actually. I didn't spend too long in the mini moto section of fab racing. So I did a year in rookies, I think, and then I skipped to pros. But then at this point, I was getting quite tall, because I was about 10 now. So I moved on to the Metch kits. So I did Metch kit 50 for a year. And then the year after, I did both. So I did the 50 and the 70 cc's. And that was probably the best year. Well, it was my last year in it. It was a good year for me, because I got my first ever podium and my first ever race win. I know, I've never been so happy. I had everyone crying when I got my first 70cc win. So yeah, I was. Sadly, it is my only win I've ever had, but it will change this year.
Absolutely,
it will change this year. But yeah, so obviously then from there, at the time, my stepdad, Dave Sellers, was in Chuero's racing at the Ducati Tri-Options at the time. It was obviously they're gone now. With Chuero's, who obviously are help injured or serving ex-forces with rehabilitating and women. Sorry. So obviously at the time, he said, we found out about BTC, and he said, can I join? Obviously, I'm not in the army himself or forces. So I was a representative of Chuero's in the BTC. So that was 2021. My first season was with Chuero's. And then I did 2022. And then 2023 is when I joined Wilson Racing, and it's been from there really. So I really started through my stepdad. Really, my stepdad was the main person who funded and gave me the passion really to start bikes. So it's good. It's good.
Absolutely, and it's been a mega journey for you, right? Starting out kind of a little latish than a lot of the guys, right? And then to where you are now, right, in such a short amount of time. So obviously, you have the talent. Obviously, you have the skill and the determination. And as Chris Lewis says, you will get wins, Harrison. You've got the talent, now the belief. I'm convinced it'll all come together for you. And he's absolutely right. And then we got Luke Hedger in the house. What is up, mate? He says, always got to smile, guys. And absolutely, man. It's hard, especially when you become a champion, and then all of a sudden you got these mass fans around. And on your bad days, you got people come up to you, ask for a picture and an autograph, and everything's just been just absolute shit that day. You're like, I just want to crawl underneath a rock, right? And don't talk to anybody. But you still got to put on that smile.
Yeah, definitely.
And along with that, Harrison, is you got to find a way to put that positive energy out while you're smiling too as well, right? Because people will feel that and they'll notice that. And it's a very, very tricky thing to do.
Yeah.
But as you learn to do that, it'll also help you mentally. Because you find you broke that barrier and you can do it. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, absolutely. So listen, let's talk about your 2021 season, and we'll talk about your 2022 and obviously the 2023. So how was your 2021 season? Going into that, did you have any like real expectations, or you was just like, you know what, I'm just going to see where I end up at the end of the year?
Yeah, I think it was more of, obviously we were Churros, so it was more of just, let's see how I do. Obviously we weren't expecting any points really either, because I mean that was, well, what would I have been, 12 coming on 13, so it was going in it, just do your best, wherever we finish is where we finish. But I can't remember off the top of my head how well I did. I didn't think I weren't like last. I definitely weren't last. I know that, which is good. Yeah, I definitely weren't last, but I weren't in the points either. I was probably running mid-20s, which, even top 20 sometimes, I'm pretty sure. Can't remember, but yeah, that season was all about like the learning curve of learning the ways of BTC, getting used to the bike. Because at that time, obviously, I couldn't do any practice on the bike. So it was just the only time I got to ride the bike was at that race weekend. So just learning the bike, obviously getting used to the team as well, with how they worked and how they wanted to work with me, and communicating with them. But yeah, I'd say it was an all right first season in BTC, definitely. And 2022 obviously was my second year with them, and I think that year was the year where I definitely made quite a big jump compared to some people, because I went straight into top 15, so points, which was really good for me. It was like winning. I would be so happy when I'd come in with like 15th or a 14th. I'd come in buzzing. So, but that year was pretty good. I'd actually Knockhill. I had quite a big crash. I can remember I was coming down, coming out of the final corner, and Knockhill last corner. It's kind of, it's uphill, but it's like cambered. It's really weird. It's so strange. But I came out of there and high-sided and actually snapped my bike clean in half, which wasn't good. It was weird the way it landed. It kind of went up and just nosedived and just cracked it like that, straight in half. I came out all right, but that was my first big crash on a big bike, as it was for me then, because I was only small. But so we had to like battle for the next race, because that was in a qualifying, I think it was. And obviously the race was a couple of hours later, so that was a hectic day trying to fix my bike, and loads of people helping me, which I'm really appreciative of. Because I mean, everyone in the paddock, they all help each other, especially the BTC. Obviously, we're all in a group chat on WhatsApp. We have a BTC group chat, and the adults have one as well, and everyone likes to help each other. So it's a good community. And then what we are, 2023. 2023 was 2023 was this year, wasn't it? So
last year, yeah.
Last year. I got confused then. There's a lot to say about last year. weren't the greatest year for me, to be honest. Yeah, I mean, I'd one or two good results, but the rest of it weren't the best. Obviously, it was my third year in it, so I came into it thinking, well, podiums, because obviously it was your third year, and obviously that didn't happen, which isn't the greatest really, and that really messed up my mindset. But because we had such a good off season with the team in Spain before round one at Silverstone, that obviously we came into Silverstone thinking we've got this. Because obviously my teammate was Sully at the time and was matching his times in Spain and was doing really well, and the team was really confident. And obviously we came into Silverstone. I think I finished 2/12, I think it was, which for me it didn't seem that bad, but it just weren't what we needed. We needed to be in the top tens, and this was carrying on over the next few rounds. Some rounds I was going even further back, and it was just completely messing my head up. It was all I could think was negative, because I had nothing positive about that season. There was nothing good to think about, and I think it put me in quite I say bad place. I suppose it was mentally with racing. That just I was going out and already thinking I'm going to go back and back and back. But it was Thruxton. Yeah, I think it was Thruxton. Was actually one of my best rounds. Then it turned round. It was really weird. I had loads of bad rounds, and we got to Thruxton, and then it just clicked. And I've always liked Thruxton. Thruxton's probably one of my favourite tracks, especially after last year. And it was hot as well. It rained in qualifying, but it was hot as well. And obviously, I finished at a 10th and a 5th, which 5th was my best ever finish. So I was well happy with that. Once again, felt like a win. I was coming in, steaming and all that.
Yeah.
But yeah, that helped a lot with getting that good result with the mental side of things, and it picked me up a lot. But yeah, that was a really good weekend. I mean, I started 5th and finished 5th, but it was a good battle as well. You know, you've got races where you get a good finish, but they're an easy race. Where this, I had to work for it. You know, throughout this race, I had to work hard to try and get this 5th position. I was battling with, who was it? Lucas Brown, Harrison Desoy. We had Harley McCabe in there, he's one of my good friends actually. Who else did we have? I think we had Philip Swariak, and that was it actually. I think there was four of us. And I can remember it was the last lap, and I was in 5th at the time, and I had my mum over the pit wall as I passed the thing with the pit board out, screaming. And yeah, I can remember starting the last lap, and I dropped so far. I say drop back. I dropped back to the back of the pack, which was 8th, I think it was. And then in the last corner, I can remember I just broke so late because I was so desperate for this 5th position. It would have been my best ever finish. And I was so desperate, so I slipstreamed. They was on the inside. I went round the outside and just straight through, because obviously it's a chicane, last one of Thruxton. So I just cut all the noses off straight through, and I came over the line. I could see my mum and my stepdad over the thing. It's so good, that feeling. I can't wait until I'm on that podium or winning when I come over that line and I see them all, because it makes me happy as well, seeing that they're happy with me. Definitely. So that was a really good weekend for that, because it was the second race. So we finished off with a good one, ready for Silverstone MotoGP. But then I think it was in the paddock. There's 3 of us really in BCC. We've got like groups of who people hang around with. We're all mates, but we've got the ones who you're closer with. Like, so I'm with like Harley McCabe, Scott McPhee, probably my main 2 really. I can remember we actually went to, so on the way to MotoGP, what I normally do is we stay down at Poole, because it's like midway between Thruxton and MotoGP. In fact, no, I've got that wrong actually. MotoGP was before, wasn't it? Sorry, I've messed that up. Before. It's okay. Anyway, we went for a weekend down in Poole, which is quite good. Just us 3, and went into the Poole centre, went in the beach and stuff like that. So it's a good time to relax as well before the weekend with my mates. So that was really good. But then what was after Thruxton? God, Thruxton, was it Donington? I should know this.
Yeah, I think so.
Thruxton, then it was Donington, weren't it? Was that last round?
I think so.
Donington, yeah. Alton. I've just been told Alton. I think they're listening.
Okay, Alton.
Alton. I think my parents listened to it, and they're just yeah, I've got it.
Hello, parents.
Yeah, they're shouting somewhere.
Yeah.
Alton Park.
Oh, Alton Park. There it is.
Yeah. Alton. Alton wasn't a too bad weekend actually, because that was after Thruxton, so I was still on quite high from Thruxton. I think I got 12th somehow, but I was battling for top 10s anyway. So that was a good weekend, and then hopefully I get this right. Then it was Donington. I think it was then Donington, which then that's when it all went to bad again, which I did the previous year as well. I mean, the race one, I think I finished 7th because it was dry. A lot of people crashed out, but that was fine. I was happy with that. But this last year was my main negative impact was rain. I hate the rain. It's awful. I don't think many people are riding it, to be honest. Yeah, it's not the greatest. That's the bad thing with living in England, is that it's always raining. But I've had to adjust to it. But anyway, it was I started 11th and it was raining in the last race, and obviously because all year it's been so bad, and we've already had previous wet races what haven't gone well for me, like Brands Hatch where I crashed. It was in my head, I already had that negative impact again of me dropping back from 11th, but which I did. I ended up pulling in the end because of steaming up and stuff like that, and my head just wasn't in the right place for that race. Definitely not at all. So it weren't the best way to end the season, really. Definitely weren't, which is annoying because I did it the previous year as well. When I crashed, I put a hole in my arm. It was wet. It was damp, cold. It was warm up, so it was probably about 9 o'clock. Warm up was 9 o'clock and was first out. And a high sided coming down Brands Hatch, coming down Craners. Coming down Craners, and we still don't know what it was. It was a perfect hole in my elbow here, and it's still got the scar. We never know what it was. I think it might have been a foot peg or something like that. But anyway, yeah. So I put a hole in my arm in warm up. This is 2022. This was. But yeah, so that sent me back for that race as well at Donington, and that was the last round as well. So we've had 2 bad last rounds really, but just forget about it. It's past now. You can't change the past. We're now looking on for a good 2024 with lots of podiums and hopefully battling for the championship. Definitely.
Absolutely. And I got a good friend that actually races with you in BTC, Jillian Carrera. I'm such a fan of all you guys. Like, man, I hope you and everybody that races get to your dreams tenfold, right? Wherever you want to end up, whether it's MotoGP, World Superbike, wherever. I hope you do that 10 times and you achieve way more than you ever thought you would. So yeah, I'm a fan of all you guys, and of course I'm gonna be watching and cheering for every single one of you, and I can't wait to see you get that first W and stand on top of the box. Absolutely. Yeah, dude, you listen. You're gonna do it, right? You're gonna do it. Just keep saying, I got this. I can do this. I'm gonna do it. And then next thing you know, it's gonna be, the best time of your life.
Once you do it again, like once I've had that first podium, it gives you that energy of like positive thoughts again of you can do it again, and they all come then. Once happens, it happens another 10 times. So hopefully I can get it done at Navara. I will get it done at Navara.
There you go.
We'll have a podium at Navara.
Absolutely. Definitely. I love it. That's it, Harrison. I will do this. Yep. That's exactly what you need to do.
I put a bet on, actually. Was it funny? Was it Cartagena with Clayton Edmonds? He was there as well. And we did a bet that we messed around. I've got to try and beat him in race 1 and race 2, me and Clayton. So that's another thing to do, but that gives me more energy to get that podium. And we've got a 4 running around the paddock.
Yeah, it's absolutely. So Chris Lewis says, I get nervous sometimes watching you BTC guys weaving. It's like a Moto3 race is exactly what it is, right? It's absolutely bar to bar, just like the battle of Thermopylae with the 300 Spartans and against the Persians, right? It's just nonstop battling out, and I absolutely love it. And actually, we got a comment from my buddy Dial. He is a he's doing tech right now in Roebling Raceway here in the United States at Wera. So he says hi, and then he says, it's time to race. See you guys soon. Good luck, Harrison. Head
Thank
up,
you.
rubber down. Absolutely. Yeah, it's good stuff, man. So listen, for all the viewers and the people that are listening to this now and that are going to listen to it, tell everybody what your BTC bike is.
So it's a Honda NSF 250, obviously. It's there's not much to it. It's just that there's nothing, just a standard one of them. I mean, with mine, I've got a Paytech suspension on mine. Because some people run standard suspension, but there's not much to them. Twice with me, I'm not mechanically minded. I turn up, ride, do my best. But yeah, Honda NSF 250. It's slick tires, little. That's about it, really. Yeah, I don't really know much to say.
No,
Really.
you're good. It is a proper weapon. It is
Yeah,
what it is. Yeah, absolutely it is.
very rigid compared to some bikes. It's not got a lot of movement in the frame and that compared to like the bigger bikes, but they're good fun to ride. They're like little whippets.
Oh,
So,
right. Well, Harrison, the thing is, it's a proper built Pacific race bike. It's not an
yeah.
R6 that's built for the street or an
Mm.
R1 or whatever it is to be able to absorb everyday undulations and potholes and bumps and all that, right? So that's why super bikes are in super sport and all those are you hear them soft chassis, so they flex more, right? So they and that's where you get the feeling and all that versus what you're riding now is super stiff.
Yeah.
And it's just different. That's why you see people that when they finally go to like Moto 2, especially, right, when they come off of production based race bikes, your same style and the way you ride the bike and approach it is completely different. So you're trying to ride it the way you do a production bike, and it's not giving you the feelings nothing like your production bike. And yeah, I find people like struggle more with that versus people like you and Jillian that are actually coming up on super stiff purpose-built race bikes to prepare you for the road to Moto 3 and then Moto 2. And then next thing you know, you'll be in Moto GP and Pecco Bagnaia. I wonder if he'll still be racing, but you'll be there and
Yeah.
Is that your goal? Is Moto GP?
Yeah, I'd say. I mean, it's everyone's goal in it within racing.
Right.
It's not. I say it's realistic. That's not being me being negative. I am positive about it, but you've just got to be so. Yeah, that's my goal. That's my goal. But I'd happily be in World Superbikes. World Superbikes is still a really good championship to be in. Or even BSB. It's nowhere near as much, but BSB, it's still fun. It's all about having fun. But obviously, MotoGP is my main goal. But we'll have to see. There's a lot of money involved as well. Talent only takes you so far. So
that's the downside of our sport is that there's been many Valentino Rossi's and Marc Marquez's and Peter Hickman's and all that we'll never know about or see, all down to funding racing, and it gets just more and more expensive every year. It's something that I think this sport as a whole needs to change.
Definitely.
Right? I mean, it does.
It's restricting. I say restricting, but I mean, it stops people from progressing who may not have the funds to afford whatever the next step is for them. So it is sad, really, to see, because if they've got the talent, but they can't obviously get there, it must be really annoying for them. But I mean, that's why some people are lucky enough to get big sponsors, which will pay for them all, which I wish I had to pay for me to get all the way through. But yeah, it's a lot of money involved in it. I suppose it could change for the good, really, if it was a lot cheaper. But I mean, when is it going to change? Will it change?
Yeah. I mean, these are the questions, right? I would love to see them, just format it different and have, just cheaper bikes or cheaper way of racing, to help everybody out, right? I mean, I just see it as if our sport's going to grow, we need that. Allow
Yeah,
more people to come in and make it more affordable, right? Whether whatever tires you use, right? Dunlops, Pirellis, whatever, maybe they can make a lower spec tire that's a lot
yeah,
cheaper instead of $450 a set of tires. And
mm.
it's
Yeah. We need some like foundation step to get you into it, really, which we haven't really got at the moment, I'd say.
no, that's actually achievable, right? For us, because I'm a parent, right? I mean, I couldn't come up with $40,000 or $50,000 to pay for racing. I might be able to come up with like 10 or 15 just to be realistic, right? But I mean, that's a big chunk of money,
Yeah,
with no guarantees. And it's just yeah, it's we need to change sports. So you guys listening, we need to figure it out for sure. Absolutely. So, listen, within your team, Harrison, are you working with the same crew you've been with for the past 3 years?
yeah. Within Wilson Racing, yeah, we've still got the same people. So we've got obviously we've got Gary, who's the manager, owner, sorry, but he's also a mechanic as well. Team mechanics on the bike. So we've got Gary, we've got Rebecca, who's also a mechanic. We've got Ian, who is more of the data side of things. Helps us a lot. He's really, really good. Ian is. He used to ride himself actually. He used to be a really good rider. So he's really good with the data and stuff like that. Then we've got. That's it. That's it with the actual team. But obviously I've got my teammates for that. But yeah, with Gary, Rebecca, and Ian is the main people who are fixing and sorting my bike out, ready for the race weekend.
Ready for battle.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So it's not,
absolutely.
even though obviously you see some teams like Vision Track, or whatever, they've got loads and loads of mechanics. Like they're quite a big team, but it doesn't necessarily mean they're good. I'm not saying they're not, but I mean Gary. Obviously, there's three of them, and they're just so good. Gary's got so much experience. It's just I'd say he's one of the best teams to be with. Definitely, if not the best, because he's just got so much experience. Same with Ian. Them two combined, just it's good. This is definitely good. They get my bike perfect for the race weekends, and I'm always getting the good data, which is going to help me become better and faster. Also, Rebecca's really good at. She does the graphics as well. So Rebecca does the graphics on the bikes as well as mechanicking and all the other good stuff. So, yeah.
That's awesome, man. So, are you learning to read telemetry, suspension, and all that good stuff? Brake pressures
Yeah,
and
it's yeah. I mean, when we're out in Spain, what we just come back with actually, sometimes if Ian's busy, he just gives us his laptop and we can connect to our dashes and have a look at our data. And it's not. I'm getting the hang of it now because obviously when I'm with the teammates, we go through things like obviously throttle control to see how much on the throttle, brake pressure. Look at the lines. You can get the lines up to see where you are compared to them. They're the main ones really we look at with and how late you're braking really. 'Cause that's the main bit, isn't it? You braking late, throttle early, obviously your corner speed. So obviously been doing that in Spain, and we do it in BSB sometimes as well. We're looking at data so we can all learn at the same time. So when we are older, we can do it ourselves like so.
well, and you actually have a better understanding of what the bike's doing, Harrison. Meaning that when you're out there riding it, and you feel the changes that are being made, and then when you come back in and you see your telemetry, you be like, oh yeah, I felt that here, but it's saying this here, but that's not exactly what I'm feeling, right? And then your engineer would be like, oh, it's this, blah blah blah, and then I think it's a great thing. It really is, especially at an age that you are coming up and coming through and understanding everything about a motorcycle. That's only going to help you progress through your career, right? To have that foundation and that true understanding, especially you're right, late braking, and how quick you get on the throttle, how smooth you get on the throttle is yeah, that's for you. Is that one of the most hardest things to wrap your head around, is the late braking and getting on the gas? Like, as soon as you let off the brakes?
Yeah, it's for me. I'm not too bad on the brakes. I'm quite well. I say that, but I mean,
You're a top rack, huh?
yeah, I am going to say that, aren't I? But maybe if you speak to someone else, they might say differently. But I don't find it too difficult. Obviously, it's easier said than done, definitely. But you know, I don't find it too bad. So we've been out in Spain now, and the main thing we was looking at was late braking into a certain corner, and it's just you've got to have that, you've got to have balls to brake late. You know, it is a, I won't say scary, but it's always like, oh, if I brake there, am I going to make the corner and stuff like that. But once you've done it, like I said, you do it, it's easy. Once you've done it once, it's fine. But then that's where we look at like brake pressure and stuff like that to see where we're braking and how hard we're pulling the brake lever, obviously, because if we're braking early and not pulling it that hard, then that tells us that we can brake later but pull it harder, if you know what I mean. So,
Yep.
But yeah, I don't find it too bad to get my head around throttle control and stuff like that.
Yeah, it's an awesome part of it. And it's actually a big part of it too. Chris Lewis has another question. He says that I've asked other riders this: do you get information overload sometimes, Harrison, whereby you think that's it, I'm not looking at it anymore? Like going over your data and all that, like you just look at it and everything just blends together, and you're like, you know what,
Yeah,
I'm gonna walk away right now.
Yeah, it's obviously when we come in from a session, we all sit down and we go through the whole thing, every corner. But for me, I don't find it too bad because we break it. We get our track maps out and we break it corner to corner. So we could be sat down for an hour or so going through each corner. So it makes it a little bit easier because we can look at each corner, write it down, talk about it, and then go to the next corner. So for me personally, I don't struggle with how overloading of too much information like. But yeah, I don't struggle too much with that really. So
Good. So how do you have any like race rituals you do, Harrison, before you prepare for battle? I got some riders, some of my friends actually, one of my friends told me, he's like, man, the only thing I do is I wear my socks inside out. And I was like, why you wear your socks inside out? Right. That's
yeah,
weird. And he's like, well, you know how it has where it's sewn together in the front and you put your socks on and it like gets up in your toes and you constantly moving it. He's like, well, if you flip them inside out, you don't have that anymore. And since then I've been a firm inside out sock wearer.
Yeah, that makes sense actually. Yeah. For me, I don't think I do. I mean, I do one thing what my mum's told me before actually about when I'm on the grid. I sit there playing with my helmet strap thing. I sit there just in my head. I'm always checking that it's done up. I could be sat there for ages just making sure it's done up. It's really weird, but that's the only thing really I've noticed myself doing is checking my helmet strap, and I don't know why I do it. I don't know. It's something I do. Maybe it's nerves just when I'm on the grid. But I don't think I do anything else now. I don't really do that sort of thing.
Yeah, well, that's I get it. To me, superstitions is like a double-edged sword because I think it's you add a little extra pressure on yourself that's really not needed, right? In a way, but in another way, it's good if you have certain superstitions. But on top of that, like I just got done saying, if he's like, oh shit, I put my right side sock on instead of my left sock, I'm not going to do good today. That's what I mean by that, right? When absolutely that's not the case at all. It don't matter really how you put your gear on.
If you're doing that, it's going to mess up your head really.
Yeah,
it's another thing to think about, and it's not needed to be thinking about because it's something stupid like which way do I put my socks on. So that's why I think. I mean, that's not a reason why I don't do it. It's just I just don't do it. I just get my head and go, sort of thing. So yeah.
That's awesome. So obviously how many times did you test already this year? Just once?
Yeah. We're on the BCC bike,
yeah. And so during the off season, what bikes do you use to train on?
So this off season I've been doing the ZX6 and my KTM 85.
Nice.
So, yeah.
How do you like the ZX6? Obviously, it's bigger. It's a lot heavier. It's got a lot more horsepower, right? But how do you gel with it?
Well, my first time riding it was obviously the end of last year, and we rode it at Almere. And I got on it thinking it would be mega fast. because I've been told they're quite fast. But to be honest, I didn't find it too bad. I got told it would rip my arms off and stuff like that because they're powerful. They're not too bad. It's just how they get there, kind of thing.
Yeah.
They get there quicker than other bikes. But after a couple of sessions, I didn't find it too bad. I mean, on my first session, I found it heavy with changing over each side of the bike and lobbing it over because there's chicanes there, and just the power in my hand. Because obviously, compared to a BTC bike, and what does 130 to a 600 now, which I think I got 160 out of it, something like that. It's a lot different, but I kind of like it because you get on the throttle when it's like sliding out the corner and stuff like that. It's really cool. But no, I gelled with it quite well actually. We spent a lot of days on it at a time because we was going out on the weekends as well. Not so I'd come back from school on a Friday and then we'd fly out, do Saturday and Sunday, come back, and we're just doing that over and over again. Mostly on the 600. Sometimes we'd do it on the 85 at things like Gas 74, which is actually closed now. But mainly the 600. And when I gelled with it quite well and I got used to it. And I started doing quick lap times on it, comparing to people who race in stock 6, and was getting really close to them. And it was fun as well because I was with Harley Mackay, one of my good friends, and he was on a 600 as well. So I was battling on 600s, and it was good. But the problem with it is when I got back on the BTC bike, it made it feel really weird, and it just didn't. It took me a while to get back used to it, so it kind of slowed me down a bit in the process of getting back used to the BTC bike. But it helps at the same time because obviously it's faster and heavier. So back on the BTC, it's slower, obviously, and it's lighter. So now when I got on the BTC, I can just lob it round, and it feels like I'm more in charge of the bike. Whereas before, maybe I didn't feel like that.
Yeah.
So it's definitely improved me on the BTC bike for sure. Definitely, because I went faster straight away actually when I went to Cartagena after being on 600, which is good. So mainly 600 and KTM really this off season anyway.
That's awesome. And what's the most difficult part for you transition between the 600 and the BTC bike?
A lot lower down. It's a lot lower down compared to the BTC. Compared to the 600. 600 is a bit more, obviously it's bigger, so I'm upright a little bit more. The position on the bike is a bit different as well. Obviously in the BTC you're a bit more down and hunched over. So I think that was the main thing with me, because I can remember saying when I first got on it, the handlebars feel different. Because obviously the handlebars are different on a bigger bike. So I think that was the main thing, was just how it felt. But like I said, after a session, it was all right.
He's like, I'm back at it, no problem.
Yeah.
I got this. I like it, Harrison. I like it. Yeah. And then we got Mom up in the house. What is up, Tammy? She says, hi, Mom here. He loves the ZX6. First time he rode it, he came in so excited, telling me he did 160 miles an hour. As you can imagine, I was petrified. Listen, I totally get it, Mom. Tammy, it's I'm a dad too, so I would feel exactly. It's the nerd. People like growing up riding bikes like I did too, racing and all this other stuff. My mom's like, I'm just so nervous. You make me so nervous and blah, blah, blah. I'm like, calm down, Mom. I got this. No worries. Whether I'm riding on the street or doing a track day or whatever. But since I become a dad, I totally get where my mama was coming from. It's that as a parent, you always want to protect your child no matter what. Right. So yeah, I get it. But Harrison, he's a future champ, and he's got this, Mom. 100%. Yeah, absolutely he does. And then Chris Lewis again, mate, he says, I've always wondered, is the school quite accommodating when it comes to your commitments with your racing career?
Yeah, that my school's really good with this. They give me the time off whenever I need it, and they don't class it as like I'm having. So they in my school they have a system of like they class it as if you're off if you're ill or something. And they fine you. So like when you go on holiday or something like that, they fine you of how many days it is. But for my school, they don't fine us at all. They just let me have the time off because they class it as a educational activity. So yeah, they're really good with that side of things. But obviously, I'm going towards my GCSEs now. So luckily, I'm not having to miss any exams for the racing. The only one where it's going to be a problem actually is Donington. I've got a maths exam, GCSE exam on the Friday. But I think BTC Matt Spain is sorting that out and he's pushing out all the sessions back. But yeah, school's really good with me racing, definitely. So
well, that and that makes it easy for your parents too as well, right? It's listen, Harrison, my mom, this is my mom saying, okay, well, from me growing up is it takes a village to raise a kid, but it also takes a village to raise a racer. Which I didn't understand at the time until I became a parent. And then I'm like, yeah, absolutely. It takes a village. You know, my son, he's 11. His name's Hayden Rossi after, you know, Nikki and Valentino. And he's just, he's not into bikes. He loves to go to the races with me. He's all into it. Yandel Medea, big shout out to him in Junior Cup. We met him 2-3 years ago, and they immediately was like this magnet together. And then his dad, you know, we become really good friends. They're a family now. So when we go to Moto America, dude, Rossi's like, everybody in the pits pretty much knows who he is. Like, I don't really have to worry about where's my child at. He's either with Yandel or he's over there with them or them. It's good stuff, man. Good stuff. But I, of course, Harrison, I wanted my son to be, yes, I got a next MotoGP world champ, you know, in the oven. You know, he's going to be this, he's going to be that, and all that. And then at the time, my wife's like, well, how do you know it's going to be a boy? I was like, it's a boy. It's absolutely going to be a boy, right? And yeah, had a boy, and he just he'll watch the racing. I bought him several dirt bikes, and he's just, I'm just not ready. And so I said, okay. So I sold him and waiting on the day for him to come up to me and say, I'm ready, Daddy. You know, whether if he don't ever want to race, you know, I don't ever want to push my son to do anything that he don't want to do or be uncomfortable with. It's not fair to him for me to try to realize my dreams through somebody else, right? If that makes sense. So yeah, absolutely, man. It's good stuff, man. So 2024, Harrison, absolutely, you're absolutely going to kill it, dude. We're almost an hour into this. I told you it would fly by. You know, absolutely, I told you it was. But before we get off here, I have some personal questions. This is actually my favorite part of the interview. I feel like when I ask these questions, it brings the audience to know you more on a personal level, which is very important. You know, to me anyway. So I'm gonna start off by asking you, what is your favorite movie of all time?
Tough one.
I know there's so many good ones out there.
I've got to say, it's a Christmas movie actually. Polar Express. That's my one. Used to watch that every year, no matter what. Just definitely. Polar Express for me.
Do you still watch it?
Do I still watch it? I hadn't actually. No, you said that. But yeah, it's definitely my favourite for sure. With the train and all that.
Yeah, it's good stuff. Good stuff, man. Podcast. Do you listen to any podcast?
I listened on yesterday actually. I listened to Glenn Irwin's one with
Dave Neal.
Yeah.
Yeah,
and
good
I listened to yours with Harry Cook as well. Yeah. Listen to that one. That's about it really. They're the only two I listen to. I think I've listened to one before when my mum was listening to it, Chasing the Racing.
Yep.
But yeah, that's about it really for me.
Well, Harrison, thank you. What an honor. Absolutely. What an honor. Harry's a legend. I had so much fun with him. I had fun with everybody, of course, but yeah, Harry's actually absolutely a legend. I listen to, of course, I listen to Dave Neal Off Track, of course. Great mate of mine. Everybody out there listening, go listen to Off Track. Chasing the Racing 2 is another one of my go-to too as well. They are some of the best ones out there for sure. And in Moto PG in Australia, them boys out there, Boris, Tugs, and Fred are absolutely hilarious. So maybe you should check them out one day too, as well, for sure. Books, Harrison, do you read any books or listen to audio books?
No, I'm not a reader. I'm not big into reading at all. I haven't read a book in years. Since primary school, I'd probably say, when I got forced to read them. But yeah, no, not a big book fan at all.
Yeah, well, I never was neither. I was just like you. As soon as I'm done with school, I never want to read another book again. Of course, you know, motorcycle magazines are out, so I read those all the time. And then when autobiographies started coming out of the racers, right? Absolutely. That's when I really started to get into reading, right? Because they didn't really have podcasts then, right? So you couldn't listen to their interviews or get to know them or anything. It was always just a book. And then the audiobooks come out. So yeah, I listen to a lot of audiobooks. John Hopkins Leathered, just a suggestion. If you're on the road, you got a couple hours, download the book and listen to it. It's one of the best writer books out there for sure. Not taking nothing away from any other ones, because everybody's story is absolutely legendary, and you know, it's everybody's own personal journey. But John Hopkins just lays it all out there, like my man Nikki Hayden said, I'm all in, like not holding nothing back. And to me, that's absolutely wonderful. Music, Harrison, what kind of music do you listen to?
I've changed recently, actually. I used to be a bit more into like rap, that kind of thing. But I'm more house techno music now. Bit of house and techno, definitely. But just I don't really listen much to it. I know a lot of people in racing, especially, they listen to music before the race. I don't do that. I just sit there quietly with my earbuds in, just wait really. So it's rare that I listen to music, but when I do, I've got Spotify, so it comes up with like an album full of them on us. Listen to that really, but I don't really have any personal favorites, I'd say. But obviously some people do. But
yeah, I'm the same way. I listen to you name it, everything. You know, it don't matter. I'm just a music lover, and it all depends on what mood you're in. You know, as always. So, let me ask you this: Star Wars or Star Trek?
So actually, I'm not a big fan of both of them, but I'm gonna go Star Wars because I've watched that one before.
Okay. What Star Wars character would Harrison be?
Ooh, that's a hard question because I don't know many. Darth Vader.
Absolutely, I love it.
I mean, I can hear them laughing in the background.
Darth Vader. Yeah, it's good stuff, man. Yeah, I'm a Star Wars nerd. You know, I grew up with the whole Star Wars thing. Never was into Star Trek, but you know, I just think it's kind of a cool question to ask. You know, what character would you be? And it makes everybody like, man, what character would I be if I was in Star Wars or whatever, right? Well, let me ask you this: if we made a documentary about your racing career, what actor would play you?
I don't know. What do you mean by that question? What like an actor already?
And yeah, an actor that would play you in your document in a movie about you. So if we made a movie about Harrison Mackay, what actor would play Harrison Mackay in your movie?
I don't know. Can't answer that one. Don't know many actors. I don't know. I don't know. Can't think.
Okay. No worries.
I'm all for famous people, celebrities. Don't know. I don't watch much TV or anything like that, and
I mean, I would like to watch more TV than I do, but yeah, I don't get a chance to watch a whole lot of TV. Me and my son are watching Masters of the Air on Apple TV, which is a really good series, but it's like, it only comes out once a week. So my whole total TV time a week is probably maybe 3 or 4 hours. Cause I just don't have the time. I'd rather invest my time in other things right now, of course. So food, Harrison, what's your favorite food?
It's gotta be barbecue ribs.
Barbecue ribs.
Barbecue ribs, yeah, that's my one. And I'd probably put pizza second. A little bit of pizza.
Is that your favorite cheat meal?
What, pizza?
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Although Domino's, I'd go for the barbecue chicken. Yeah, all-time best for me, definitely.
Are you a pineapple on pizza person?
Oh, no.
Okay. I am. I like pineapple on pizza, so I know. Hey, I'm weird. It's all good. It's all good, man. It's all good. So, let me ask you this: what advice would you give your younger self? I mean, you're not old by any means at all, but what advice would you give, 9-year-old Harrison into racing?
Always believe in yourself. Like I said previously, always have that belief in yourself. Always have confidence. Always think positive. Always just keep smiling. Always enjoy what you're doing. So obviously for me, it would be racing.
love it, man. I love it. PlayStation or Xbox?
Xbox.
What game's in the console right now?
I hate to say it. Fortnite. Fortnite. Isle of Man TT. Forza Horizon 5. What else we got? That's about it, really. So I've slowed down a bit on the Xbox actually, but I have Game Pass. You see, so I used to have MotoGP 23, and they've took it off the Game Pass, so now I can't play it, which is really annoying. So I either buy it or I wait for the new MotoGP 24 to come out. So my only bike game I've got is Isle of Man game, so I'm just playing that really now.
That dude, listen, the Isle of Man game. I haven't got the new one. I want to get it. Ride 5. That's what I've been on a lot lately. Is Ride 5. And actually just got done beating Assassin's Creed Origins because I'm a big Assassin's Creed nerd, right?
Yeah.
But Ride 5 is such a good game. MotoGP 2024 is out right now. I do have 23, but man, I don't play it a whole lot just because I suck. It's so hard. It's nothing like 22 or 21. So
it's hopefully, 24. Hopefully they don't change the physics too much because it takes you a while to get used to the physics again.
Absolutely, it does. Absolutely, it does. So let me ask you this: who's your favorite racer, Harrison?
Marquez.
Alex or Mark?
Mark.
Okay. So obviously you watch MotoGP.
Yep.
World Superbike.
Yeah, half and half. I'm more watching MotoGP, but when I do, I'm watching Alex and Sam Lowe's anyway, and World Superbikes because they're from where I live. So
of course, and then of course BSB, right?
Sorry, you just cut out there.
Yeah, no, yeah. So do you watch BSB?
Yeah, I do. Yeah, sorry, it's yeah, definitely. If you want, Tommy Browdell's the guy for me in BSB, definitely.
You like, so he's your favorite in BSB is Tommy?
Yeah,
good stuff,
definitely.
man. Good stuff. Man, of course, I'm a huge Valentino Rossi fan. I got a tattoo of Marco Simoncelli, and of course Nicky Hayden and all that. But back when Rossi obviously was racing, man, I was such a diehard. Like everybody else is non-absolute. I'm talking just MotoGP. I'm not talking any other series, right? But after I found that Rossi retired, Harrison, it's like I respect all of them. And I like all of them. You know what I'm saying? So if I was going to actually pick a favorite right now, like, man, I don't never use the word hate. I think hate's just such a negative, one of the most negative words, probably the most negative word. I use dislike, right? Because you just don't agree. I used to dislike him and Lorenzo. I'm a huge Spartan fan, 300 Leonidas and all that mythology. And when Lorenzo come out with that Spartan helmet, I was like, okay, I like you a little bit this much now, right? And then Marquez, of course, with the rivalry with Rossi. Yeah, of course. How could you? Yeah, I disliked Marquez. But now that Rossi's retired, the injuries that Marquez is coming back, yeah, absolutely. I respect him and I cheer for him too now, right? But if I was going to pick a favorite right now as we talk, man, it's so hard. It would be Baby Jeebus, Pedro Acosta coming up. Man, I'm a huge fan of his. Jack Miller, Brad Binder.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's going to be a cracker of a season in MotoGP.
Yeah, Pedro's going to do really well after the main race at Qatar. I mean, for him, that must have been so good because, he's battling with, that probably would have been his idol, Marquez, and obviously he overtook him. But yeah, I think Pedro is definitely going to have a good year for his first year, definitely. I see it coming.
Yeah, it's going to be a future champ for sure. He's something special, and it always happens that way. Somebody's always going to come along the line and I'm not saying that he's not going to achieve what Marquez achieves or what Rossi achieves. That's to be determined, but he's definitely a special case for sure.
Yeah,
110%. Yeah. So if you can invite 3 people to dinner, dead or alive, famous, who would you bring?
Dead or alive.
It could be anybody, actors, racers, family members.
It's a tough one. I'm having Marquez come anyway. Marquez is coming. Marquez is coming. I've got to speak to him. He's definitely coming. Who would I like to speak to? That's really tough because there's so many people. They're all going to be racing. 3 people.
Well, we got Marquez, so now we need 2.
Yeah. I can't think. We'll just go races. Rossi. I'd love to speak to Rossi.
That's a dynamic, Harrison. Rossi and Marquez at the same dinner table with you. Yeah, right.
Speak to him because obviously he's an icon, isn't he?
Absolutely.
Even though I do prefer Marquez, but a third one. I'm struggling. I can't think of anyone who I'd really want to speak to.
Tommy Birdwell.
Tommy Bradwell. There he is. He's coming. He's invited. Yeah, Tommy Bradwell is invited as well. All races.
Yeah. Dude, so you obviously know BSB is my favorite race organization. I'm since I first seen BSB, I was like, dude, it's absolute not saying that, Moto America or World Superbike guys are any faster or any slower. It's I love the fact that they race super bikes with no electronics on them. That's old school, proper racing. It comes down to the rider, not the engineer and all that other stuff, right? When it matters, because now the rider's got to change his riding style as the tires change to handle the horsepower and yada yada, so on and so forth. It's absolutely amazing. So, I ask everybody this, Harrison. What's after racing? What's life after racing? Like, do you have like a job you want to fall back on? Lawyer, dentist, anything like that? Or have you even thought about it yet?
Yeah, I've been obviously now I'm coming up to the age where I need to think of a job anyway. Electrician. Electrician. I've actually applied for multiple jobs actually for an electrician. So overhead lines, cross person. So yeah, that would be the job I'd fall back on. Electrician.
Absolutely.
They're always needed. They're a trade. So with the amount of new houses that are getting built, you're always going to need an electrician to put something in for you, no matter what. So they're always got. It's all right money as well. So
absolutely it is. And do you watch Moto America at all?
Not much, no.
Yeah. It's hard for you guys to watch it out there, ain't it?
Yeah, I see a bit on like Facebook with like little clips of it, of things that are happening if someone's crashed or something like that. But I've never seen it like watch the race fully on TV or whatever. Because I don't really know where to get it. I don't really know how you get it on your TV as such.
Well, I can take care of that for you. So stick with me after we end this. I got you, right? So, well, listen, Harrison, we're a little bit over an hour into this. I know you got a lot to do. I got a lot to do. It was an absolute honor to sit down and have this chat with the future champ of Harrison Mackay British Talent Cup. Listen, you're absolutely welcome. So what I need you to do is give your whole shout outs. Where can people find you, buy your merchandise? Do you have a club they can sign up for? All that good stuff.
So Instagram is HMR Racing 61. That's my Instagram. Facebook is Harrison Mackay Racing. Also my Twitter is HMR Racing #61 as well. I'd also like to shout out sponsors as well. Ragnarok, former boots for her keeping my feet safe because I've crashed at Cartagena. They did really well. Same with Knox, protecting my hands. R&G, because they did really well with protecting my bike as well from when I went down, and LS2 as well for keeping my head safe. So yeah, thank you.
Yeah, dude, listen, you're very welcome. What's up, bud? What you need?
You know those free codes that I saw on thing? I got like 2 of them.
Cool.
So I had like $40. I bought like some stuff with it.
A Fortnite, right? See, I told you, Harrison, Fortnite straight up, right? Like, yeah, it's always Fortnite. It's hilarious. But yes, listen, Harrison, you don't have a club people can sign up for?
I don't know.
You need to get one.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I need to get one. I need to put mum onto it.
Yeah, absolutely you do. It's yeah, absolutely. But yes, listen, again, what an honor. Before I end this, I got to give a couple of my shout outs too as well. First one I want to give is RD Race Team, my mate Jake Marsh and Pete Marsh. Absolutely amazing, fast super fast racer coming up in the GP2 class. He has a Club 45. Go sign up and help him out. Every bit helps. Absolutely, it does. I need to give another shout out to my man Martin at the Clothing Kings. You can go to clothingkings.co.uk and get all your Pendergast merch. You get hats, beanies, all that good stuff. And I just want to say, man, there's so many people I got to shout out, but you guys know who you are, and I appreciate every single one of you. It's an absolute honor. Nothing but much love. Watch this. Nothing but love. Much love to everybody. Yeah, let's go. But listen, guys, thank you for tuning in and watching. I need everybody to go like and subscribe on all the platforms I'm on. It actually helps me out a lot, and I really appreciate it. Again, Harrison Mackay, thank you so much. It's absolutely been an honor. Everybody needs to go watch this young man win this championship this year. And yeah, I can't wait to have you back on again, mate. Thank you.
Thank you, Chris. Thank you for inviting me on.
Absolutely. Absolutely.